Howdy, y'all. Hey, good morning, good evening, good night, whatever time of day it is. Good day, YouTube community. Um, I am, hockey season is underway tomorrow night. I know technically it kicked off last week sometime, but my Ducks are playing tomorrow night. So technically my season kicks off tomorrow night. So this video, I am going to kick off the regular season. I'm still thinking about. I know everyone's doing preseason predictions and Stanley Cup winners, awards winners. I have not thought that far yet. So I thought I might do something a little different. Uh, So instead, I am going to give you maybe my top 10 teams that I'm probably most excited for, besides the Ducks, of course. And tomorrow I may do like some predictions, like some bold predictions of award winners. Sorry, I had a little my eye was itching. Maybe some award winners and all that good stuff. But today, I am going to give you my top 10 teams of that I am excited to watch for besides the Ducks. And to do this, I have my little board, my little marker, my little dry erase marker, and my board. So the 10th that I am probably most excited to see. These are really in no particular order. It's the San Jose Sharks. Do I think the Sharks are going to be good? Not really. But why am I so excited to see this team play? Because their mascot are sharks, and sharks are cool. Let me get my lid. So simple fact is, yeah, sharks are cool. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see the sharks. All right. And the ninth is the ninth team that I'm excited to see is Vegas. I know a lot of the people, a lot of people that had those teams kind of let them down. I know popular opinions are probably the Jets or the Islanders who they think were supposed to be good, but they had a lot of letdown. Um, but to me, the team that let me down the most last season was the Vegas Golden Knights, and I just want to see if Vegas can rebound from that or and have a good season. Because before I never made a video because I never really kicked off this YouTube channel, but I kind of picked Vegas as my Stanley Cup champions. So Vegas is number 9. Number 8 will be the Ottawa Senators. They made some free agent signings that I'm kind of excited about. Claude Giroux, um, uh, Claude Giroux, Cam Talbot. I'm kind of curious what the goaltending is going to look like once Cam Talbot is healthy, and I'm kind of curious on this Ottawa Senator team. I know a lot of people do not think they're going to be that good. I think they might be a bubble playoff team, and they will barely get in the playoffs. I don't think they'll make it very far, but I think they'll sneak in the playoffs. So Ottawa is number 8. Number 7. The Chicago Blackhawks. I'm kind of curious. I think that they're going to be the worst team in the league, and I'm kind of curious on on how bad they really will be. So I will be paying attention to the Chicago Blackhawks. Nothing positive, but I think they will be. I think the next few seasons they will be kind of they'll be kind of horrible. It's number 6. I think I'm on number 6. Will be the LA Kings. I am curious because LA is one of those teams that LA is one of those teams where everyone didn't think that they were going to make the playoffs. Then they made the playoffs, and of course they were bounced out the first round by Calgary. But I'm curious. I am curious on. I think they will be improved. I think they will win a playoff series, and I think they will, instead of maybe the 8th seed. I predict they will get in probably about the 6th seed. So I'm curious on how much this LA King team has improved over there in the off season. So we are halfway there, and like I said, this is not going to be any particular order. So my 5th team is CBJ, also known as Columbus Blue Jackets, if you can read my writing, which I barely can. But anyways, I am curious. I'm curious to see. I know a lot of people will. I know a lot of people will has them rank lower at the bottom of their totem pole, but I'm also kind of curious how Patrick Laine and Johnny Gaudreau will develop as a duo, and if they can build chemistry throughout the season, I think they will be a bubble team to get in the playoffs, and not only a bubble team, but I think they may be able to have they may be able to win a playoff series. This if they can get chemistry. I know I've been to a number of Columbus Blue Jackets games. I like Elvis Merzlikins, but I think he's way too inconsistent. The defense is not that great. So I'm kind of curious if those areas have improved, and I think if they do, and if Gaudreau and Laine can have chemistry, I think this will be a dangerous team. So Columbus Blue Jackets is my number 5 team. My number 4 team is the Edmonton Oilers. I am curious on the Oilers because I think they have the star power. I think they can have they have what it takes. In my mind, and I'm going to explain this more in my next video. I think they can win the President's Cup, and I think they can also win the Stanley Cup. I think the talent is there, the team is there, and I personally, the Edmonton Oilers are. I know the expectations are high, and I'm going to stick with those high expectations, and I am going to predict them to win the Stanley Cup and have the best record in the league. They have 2 of the top 5 players in Draisaitl and McDavid, and I think they can win the Stanley Cup. So that is my number 4. My number 3 is the Pittsburgh Penguins. My next 2 teams are kind of similar to that in Pittsburgh and the number 2 team. I am kind of curious to see. The 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 reason why I'm picking Pittsburgh is the combination of Malkin and Crosby. How long can they keep this up? They have been they Pittsburgh has been good for so long, and these guys seem like they've been playing for the past 75 seasons. So I am curious to see if they can keep this up, and if they can and how good they are. So Pittsburgh is my number 3 team, and my number 2 team. My number 2 team is the Washington Capitals. I like Pittsburgh. I'm kind of curious on how the Washington Capitals are going to play. They're also a little bit older, and it seems like those core guys, Backstrom, Wilson, and Ovechkin, has been playing together for about 75 seasons. So I'm kind of curious on you will start to think when guys get old, their talent kind of diminishes. But Ovechkin is still playing at a very high level, and I'm kind of curious to see why how he will how they will do. Will they still be competitive or not, or will they start to decline and drop off? Same with Pittsburgh. So Washington is my number 2. And before I go on, I just want to give a couple honorable mentions. I'm curious to see how Detroit does if they start to progress. I think in a few years Detroit is going to have a really good team. Hockey Town's going to be back. I'm also kind of curious to see the improvements of. I still think Montreal is not going to be a very good team, but I'm kind of curious to see on. I think they will be improved, but they're still not going to be very good. So I'm on this. I'm curious to see those improvements. I'm also kind of curious to see first full year of Bruce Boudreau in Vancouver. I want to see how the Vancouver Canucks will respond. And those are my honorable mentions. And not to mention, there are a few other teams I'm kind of curious about that for time's taken for this video, I'm not going to add. But I think my number 1 team that I'm most curious to see, of course, this is not in any order at whatsoever. So, of course, if my Ducks play the same time as these guys, I'm definitely choosing the Ducks. But I'm also curious how this team does throughout the year. That is the Toronto Maple Leafs. That wow. I think I said this, and I don't know if I said it on this channel or I mentioned this to someone else, that I kind of feel like the Toronto Maple Leafs are kind of like the Dallas Cowboys of the NHL. You know how you hear about how great these Cowboys teams were back in 20, 30 years ago. You also hear the same thing with the Toronto Maple Leafs. I this team is one of the more disappointing teams that I have ever witnessed. The frustrating team. They seem like they have all the talent in the world, but they can't get through out of the first round. I think this year they if they don't win their division, they will come in second. I predict. I think it's a toss up between them and the Tampa Bay Lightning. but I think they will come in solidly in second if they don't win their division, and I predict that they will make it out of the first round. They may lose in the second round, but I am predicting they win in the first round. Um, yeah, it's one of those teams that I think they have all the talent in the world, but they cannot overcome something that has to be overcome, and I don't know what it is. But I'm actually rooting for Toronto. I know the more I watch Austin Matthews, the more I kind of warm up to him. I'm starting to become a fan of his. I He's like one of those players that you really didn't care for until you start watching him, and then the more you watch him, the more you like him. So that's Austin Matthews, and then I think they have good chemistry of Marner and and Matthews, and there's another guy on Nylander. I think there's good chemistry there. The goaltending, I don't think the goaltending is going to be as atrocious as everyone says it is. But I'm kind of curious on to see how Toronto does and seeing if they can overcome that the Tampa Bay Lightning team that no matter what happens, that Tampa Bay is probably still a top 2 or 3 team in the NHL. See if they can overcome them and see if they can maybe beat them in the playoff series. I doubt it, but who knows? But anyways, those are my top 10 teams that I'm curious to see that is not the Anaheim Ducks. Hope you have a great day. God bless, and thank you for rambling on about hockey. Go Ducks.